Viewers, look carefully. On the one side of your screens, which is the left-hand side, is Karti Chidambaram. On the other side is a little-known chartered accountant who got bailed today. This chartered accountant is thought to be the person who runs companies that investigators believe accepted kickbacks from entities on behalf of his boss, Karti Chidambaram. Till today, Karti has denied any business links, any formal business links with this man who is called Bhaskar Raman. But today, that's all about to change. Times now will put out proof that bears the signatures of Karti Chidambaram that links these individuals conclusively. Here, as always, are the hard facts. And also, the mails, right here in my hands, that underline the hard facts. Karti's last standing defense is demolished tonight. For the first time, Karti Chidambaram has been linked to kickback companies. Files of Karti's correspondence have been accessed exclusively by Times Now's internal security editor Nikunj Garg. Letters link Karti to tainted chartered accountant Bhaskar Raman. Letters prove that chartered accountant was Karti's front in these so-called Benami companies. The only reason I'm saying so-called is because these are still claims that have been made by the investigative agencies. Now, the letters underline the Enforcement Directorate's claims. Here they are. Claim 1. From day one, the ED claims Karti controlled two firms which are under the scanner, ASCPL and ACS. The second claim, one firm was proprietorship in the name of wife of Karti's chartered accountant, Bhaskar Raman. Claim 3, Bhaskar Raman was not just a consultant, but Karti's employee. Claim 4, Bhaskar Raman set up businesses to collect money for Karti. And these letters today establish this. Here are the letters that you will see bear out the Enforcement Directorate's claims, at least on paper. Here is the first mail. And that's it on your screen. And I'm going to direct our video journalists to focus on this. Viewers, pay close attention. This mail goes out from the office of Karti Chidambaram. It's mentioned here, and I've circled it duly. It was sent in 2011. Who did it go to? Deputy High Commissioner's Office, High Commissioner of London. The subject and the person who has also been is Bhaskar at bhaskarraman.com. Attestation for an agreement at your office. My colleague, here is a smoking word. My colleague Bhaskar, Mr. Bhaskar Raman Subramanian, will be in the UK next week and he would like to meet you with a specific request. Arrangement is being executed in respect of a business transaction in India. The signatories who are in India have signed the agreement and the same has been duly attested by a notary in Mumbai. Two signatories in the agreement are in the UK and their signature needs to be attested by an official of the Indian High Commission. The signatories, of course, will establish their identity with their passport, statutory documents. They would gladly pay any fee that may be levied on such an attestation. Could I advise Bhaskar to meet you at your office? Thanking you, yours very truly, Bharani EA, to Mr. Karti Chidambaram. Clear as day. It's the Enforcement Directorate, Government of India, stamp here, signature of the official. It's a true copy that has been submitted to the court. Let's look at the number 2. The email number 2, which really puts the cat amongst the pigeons. This one is from CBN at advantconsulting.com. It's written again in 2011. It's written to Aparna of British Airways. The CC is Karti and B. Raman. Reference is Mr. Subramanian Bhaskaraman. Note the name. Note the name. This is for facilitating a transit for Mr. Bhaskaraman, an upgrade for him, and the person who has signed it is CBN Reddy. As I have been saying, this is an important smoking gun. This was a detailed email 0209-2011 by Shri CBN Reddy to British Airways and a copy marked to Shri Karti P. Chidambaram, where Shri S. Bhaskaraman is described as Karti P. Chidambaram's CFO. It's very clearly marked out here. Bhaskaraman CFO. It's very, very clear. He's traveling on the 4th of September by BA 36 and 11th September by BA 35. Booking reference so you know. He is booked by World Traveller Plus. Kindly check if he can be upgraded. Thanks and regards, CBM Reddy. And Aparna Malhotra has also replied, seeming to suggest that this particular request has been complied with. Then comes smoking gun 3. Perhaps the most decisive email linking another company called Chess Global Advisory Services that is thought to have received kickbacks to Karti Chidambaram. I need not say very much more. This is a letter to the Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Limited. Dear Mr. So-and-so, thank you for an opportunity to work on this operational review project, and it is signed by Managing Director Karti P. Chidambaram and Bhaskaraman, Chief Executive Officer. For the first time, both of them on the same page of a big company, establishing that Bhaskaraman is not just an acquaintance, chartered accountant of Mr. P. Chidambaram, but is an integral part of these companies and also a business associate. First link between these Benami companies and Karti Chidambaram has been established. I want to go straight across to Nikunj Garg. Nikunj, what can you tell us? This is very, very incriminating.
Well, Rahul, yes, at least the enforcement agencies clearly believe so. Both the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate have relied upon these emails, and as you said, they have clearly attested the true copies and submitted to the court, to a court of law, which is now adjudicating the matter. And in fact, in the first case, in the first instance, Karti was sent to jail by the same court on the basis of these documents too. I'm not saying these are the only documents, but these documents too. The fact of the matter is that for a very long time during the process of interrogation, summoning, questioning, etc., Karti has completely on the record maintaining that he has hardly anything to do with Bhaskaraman, that he's a professional chartered accountant whose services have been employed by him for the regular chartered accountancy businesses, just as normal individual ordinary taxpayers, you and me, employ chartered accountants or take help of a chartered accountant in case our tax liabilities are not much. He has said that Bhaskaraman's business are absolutely independent of him. He has never been a partner in the companies that Bhaskaraman floated or was running. He has also said that briefly, for a brief interlude of period, at various instances, he has been associated with these companies who are now in the thick of allegations of receiving kickbacks from various quarters. In fact, at least multiple FIPB deals are being scrutinized both by the Central Bureau of Investigation and ED for kickbacks. And he says that he had no permanent acquaintance or even dealings with these companies. Now, these emails seriously challenge that proposition, that assertion being forwarded by Karti Chidambaram for a very long time to the investigative agencies, because it is absolutely clear you do not ask for attestation by the Indian government officials of just your chartered accountant.
Yeah.
You do not ask for business upgrades. You do not sign or co-sign documentation for business proposals with just a professional chartered accountant. Clearly, it's a very thick business dealing. Clearly, there is very thick association. And Bhaskaraman, according to the agencies, this is not my claim, has been fronting companies and fronting assets and receiving illegal gratification according to the agencies, at the behest of Karti Chidambaram. And these emails quickly take us in that direction.
Let me tell you,
due documentary
Nikunj,
proof.
You have done yeoman service today to the cause of the pursuit of justice, some people would say. In my hand, really, is the provisional attachment order number 04-2017 in this particular matter. This has been filed by the Directorate of Enforcement, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Here in the fine print, on page number 35, clause 36.41, are these very documents that have been listed as proof of the association between Karti Chidambaram and these Benami companies. Thus far, he has always denied any linkages to these kickback companies. And you have been able to access all of these emails that have been written and sent by or received on behalf of Karti P. Chidambaram. And each one of them name Mr. Bhaskar Raman in his official capacity on these companies. The implications, and we can fire that graphics, are apparent to anyone with even a passing knowledge of the law. Karti cannot now deny his links with firms which received the kickbacks. Clear implication. Second, emails show Karti was involved in day-to-day functioning of the firms. Why would he be writing to an airways company, British Airways, asking for an upgrade for his alleged CFO? Why would he be talking and mentioning the names of these individuals, especially Mr. Bhaskar Raman, who just got bail today, to hospitals, thanking them for their cooperation in doing business with his entities, if Bhaskar Raman was just another acquaintance? You don't do that. You don't even write to the British High Commission of India in London, seeking permissions, etc. This strengthens the ED's claim that the firms were just Karti's fronts to get kickbacks. In the eyes of the law, this is hardcore smoking evidence, Nikunj. And the second most important thing, and I'm coming out to you very shortly, is that it establishes perhaps that the vendetta claim is spurious, maybe. Nikunj.
Well, Rahul, at least the enforcement agencies clearly will claim that, and adjudication of that will happen in a court of law, as it is happening at various levels, right from trial court to the Supreme Court of India. And even at the level of Supreme Court, they haven't given a carte blanche relief to Karti as he was expecting, or as his lawyers have been fighting. A battery of stalwarts there defending Karti's case still haven't been able to get quite a carte blanche relief for Karti Chidambaram, clearly indicating that even the courts believe that this is a sensitive case, that they must not tread too deeply or too heavily on the toes of the investigating agencies and investigators. The issue is also this, that you were talking of that provisional attachment order. The assets attached are not very large or not very huge, but they're still close to 2 crore rupees in terms of their official book value. The market value can be more. In that also, the adjudicating authority has confirmed the ED's attachment, relying once again on all these documents that the ED has gathered during the course of its investigation, and has also relied upon in its submission to the courts. So very, very clearly, multiple authorities taking cognizance and at least at this point of time, siding with the law enforcement agencies in adjudicating the matters, and that provisional attachment order also has passed the muster, as you have seen in that order copy.
Well, big problems.
Part of those documentation processes, again, these emails.
Big problems. Big problems. Nikunj, you stay on with me. I want to introduce our panel very quickly. Let's get to the heart of the vendetta claim. And let's now put it to the test. G.V.R. Narasimha Rao, who is now an MP of the Rajya Sabha and national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, with us. So is Shehzad Poonawala, Asif Bhamla, Ashutosh Mishra, Tanveer Ahmed Mir, senior lawyer, also with us, Sabha Naqvi, Suman C. Raman. Let me first begin with a straight off-the-cuff question to Tanveer Ahmed Mir. After today's disclosure, can Karti Chidambaram claim that he was a victim of a witch hunt by the Modi government? Mr. Mir, can you
Rahul,
hear me? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, the question is, yes, I've heard the question. Two things are very straight. Number one, Mr. Chidambaram has got bail from the Honorable Delhi High Court in a CBI case. He also enjoys an order given by the Delhi High Court in the ED case. But yes, the ED case will continue its investigation. Now the focus on what has been done by Nikunj today is on accessing some emails. Let me tell you that emails are a part of electronic evidence, and electronic evidence is inadmissible in a court of law. unless and until the compliance of the
come on.
mandatory provision under Section 65B is not done.
You know,
Now, first
everything
of all,
that no,
call
everything
Mr.
that
Chidambaram
doesn't
and ask
concern
him
the Congress
that whether
party
he
is
admits
inadmissible.
these emails or whether he denies them.
No.
How much
CDRs,
of relevance
when
would
it
be on
concerns
these
the BJP,
emails
are admissible.
to the offence.
Any
of
other
money
documentary
laundering?
evidence is
The
admissible.
question- no.
When it
Let me tell
concerns
you
the
one thing.
BJP, diary
Let's go-
evidences
let's
are
go
also
about
admissible.
The substratum of the matter. The matter. I'm
Oh,
not.
come on, Tanveer Ahmed,
I'm
this is not
on
looking
political
good.
Rhetoric.
Mr.
I'm
Karthi
saying
Chidambaram
that
has
is a case
maintained a
of-
great distance
is a
from
case
Mr.
of
Bhaskar
money
Raman.
laundering made out or
Mr.
not.
Bhaskar Raman is today out on bail. He was just released today. Now we have emails
Yes.
linking the two,
Correct.
where he's introducing this gentleman as his colleague.
Yes.
How can that not be evidence
Yeah, but
that
how
is
does
material?
that build a case of money laundering in the first place? How does that build a case fundamentally of money laundering
Okay.
in the first place?
Let's get the other side.
Which
GV
means,
Narasimha
you
Rao.
see, in a case of money laundering, you have to, no, just give me 1 minute, 10 seconds. In a case of money laundering, the investigating agency has to prove that first of all, you committed a criminal offense and generated illegal tainted money. Then you indulged in layering, in converting and propagating this tainted money as correct and
Sir,
legitimate
there are many
money.
other charges, criminal
That's the crux of the
conspiracy,
case.
cheating,
Now,
fraud.
do your
There are
email-
several charges.
This email, according
Some
to me,
of these are going to
does not
stick.
lead
Now,
to
there's
anything.
a problem here. Let's first begin by saying this is not vendetta.
No, is that
No, why don't you
speculation?
accept that?
Are you
There is
saying-
a smoking gun.
Are you hoping against
Now, how
hope?
long will you keep? How long will you keep
No,
adducing this
sir,
fashion
when you are
and vendetta
imagining a
argument?
smoking
GV
gun,
Narasimha Rao
thereby
wants to
how
come
do
in
you
on
not
this.
call
You
this
GV
are
Narasimha Rao.
imagining a smoking gun. I don't
When
see a
ED
gun at all.
and CBI are held bent behind Karti.
GV Narasimha Rao.
Rahul, I think it's well
They have the right to
established
investigate, certainly.
that there are the four persons who own the company in which Karti claims not to have a direct interest. They are all benamis of Karti Chidambaram. And I hope the learned lawyers on the panel know it is an offense. It's a criminal offense to hold benami properties. And this is proven by the wills that have been recovered by the investigative agencies. And all these four individuals, of which Bhaskar Raman is one of the four, they have willed all the shares in these companies to the granddaughter of Mr. Chidambaram and daughter of Karti Chidambaram. I don't find anybody giving such great wills to my children. I have not found anybody giving me 1 rupee to my children. Why would these people, four of them, give away all the ownership of their company to Karti Chidambaram? Does it not prove conclusively that he has a vested interest? He is the real Binami owner? I think if this does not constitute evidence, and I don't know, under Binami Act, you cannot convict anybody in this country. I think four of them have willed, the wills have been recovered.
that purpose,
They are in
sir,
the same language. 3 of them have been signed by the principal Binamis, CB and Reddy. And this Bhaskar Raman is one of the 4. I can give you the details. And where is the money that has come into this company? What is the source of that money?
Well, let me
whether
tell
it
you
was illegal gratification,
that the documents
and
that have
what
been
was the
recovered.
source of funds for this company?
Rahul,
I think once this inquiry is
I must
completed,
come in here
there
for
is
10
no way they
seconds,
can
Rahul.
get
Okay,
away.
come in, sir.
This is
He wants to rebut you.
far more serious than Lalu Prasad Yadav
You
and
see,
his family.
let me
More
rebut
serious
GVL.
than Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family.
if-
The charges
if
are against
GVL's
them.
case-
Much more serious. Mr. Mir, you need to respond to GV and
GVL
Narasimha Rao, being very, very specific tonight.
I know, I'll tell you, if GVL's case is that Karti Chidambaram has Benami property, then Modi government introduced vast amendments and introduced criminal prosecution under the Benami Properties Act. Now please tell the whole country whether against Karti Chidambaram you have initiated any proceedings under the Benami Act. What you are doing, sir, with all the respect to you, is to first use the CBI to arrest a man, and then once the CBI's case gets weakened in the court, you let off the ED against them.
Okay.
Whilst if your case is that I am the owner of a Benami property, you should be prosecuting me under the Benami Properties Act and establishing that I am a holder of a Benami property.
There are multiple
and in
provisions that are
of that,
applicable.
I have indulged into money laundering.
How do you
now
build
you
up
have
a
no
case of a Benami
The question
on a
is
money laundering
that
act?
this is a speculative political
How
war.
do you build up a case of a
Given
money
Ashima
laundering
wants to
act
come
on the
in.
basis
now
of these
become a
revelations?
pawn in the hands of political parties to basically swing his head there
Jivan
and
Ashima,
there
specific
and somehow
legal
have
question
him
to you.
entangled.
After
I
that, I'll
don't
bring in
see
the
a
others.
viable criminal case. You must have
Jivan
a sustainable
Ashima,
case in a
I will
court of law.
answer.
Why are you using the losing the
Okay,
bails
Mr.
then?
Mir, let him respond.
Why did the
Okay,
High Court
Rahul,
then grant
let him respond,
pre-arrest
Mr. Mir.
protection? Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
No, yeah, you see, in the course of investigations of the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate, this new evidence has emerged. And once a new evidence becomes available, that will also form part of the larger investigation, and subsequent whatever acts are applicable and whatever acts under which he can be prosecuted, those will also take effect. You cannot tell me that because
ongoing
this case has not
investigation,
been
defense,
registered,
I want to
this
bring
will
in
not
on the
happen.
larger point of
I think
vendetta.
this CBI.
Okay, fair enough. Let me bring in Sabah Naqvi and Shahzad Poonawala
No,
to
I
face
think
off on this.
I think anyone who sees the facts.
Well, I don't know. The only thing I can say is that when
Anyone
documents
who
emerge
uses
implicating
the
the Prime
facts.
Minister, so-called documents, diaries, etc., the Congress President holds a press conference. And when other documents surface that seem to implicate one of his own leaders, the quality of the evidence is questioned. So I can't understand this. Sabah Naqvi, I'll just bring you in. Sabah Naqvi, tell me, still vendetta for you?
I think
Still vendetta for you? Still ED after CBI or CBI after ED?
Rahul, no, I don't. No, I think in the matter of Karti Chidambaram, there has always been enough signs that there is something wrong over here, and you know, besides the corruption points, which of course criminal proving a crime is more difficult. I don't want to go there. What these emails show me is who the hell was he to write to the Deputy High Commissioner? Who was he? Why was a private citizen giving orders to the Deputy High Commissioner of India in London? I mean, there are these other issues of nepotism and all that which rise to the fore. And certainly it's because of the class and the privilege that he enjoys right now.
Mr.
If we are
Bhamla,
in the business of getting
the
after
privilege,
politicians,
the access,
then
this is what the case
on
is
the
about,
face of
Mr.
it,
Bhamla.
Then on the face
These
of it,
emails,
Mr. Karti
Sabah Naqvi
Chidambaram
says, prove
should have
it.
been investigated as much as Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav.
No, Mr. Bhamla, you need to answer.
But
You see,
if somebody claims to have a privilege,
That doesn't matter, sir.
the question is whether somebody who enjoys a privilege automatically becomes
Doors
a criminal.
open like that. That was the whole case is that because he's privileged, because he was his father's son,
can I answer, please?
he could
If
get favors for various
Rahul,
people and charge a commission. That's the basic case.
Can I rebut?
Yeah. Mr. Bhamla, go ahead.
Rahul?
Rebut. Mr. Bhamla, rebut.
You see,
Tell me.
You see, no one is above the law. No one is above the law. If politically, it is a wrongdoing, it has to be attended, and finally it is the court who has to adjudicate it. But somehow this Karti Chidambaram case has been taken a lot of topsy-turvy turns right from the initiation, from the time
with utmost respect,
he was
sir,
arrested.
Mr. Bhamla, with utmost respect, let me tell you that the documents that Rahul Shivshankar is holding up, these documents have been approved and adjudicated upon on 22nd March 2018 by a PMLA authority, which is an adjudicating authority. These documents would not have had the sanctity if Rahul Shivshankar was just flagging them on a channel. They've gone to a court of law, they've been approved by a court of law as having legal sanctity, and on the basis of that, the adjudication has come that there is considerable evidence against Mr. Karti Chidambaram.
Rahul, can I complete my point?
Please, sir, I don't like to be heckled, sir. I'm talking in a legal language. It may be beyond you.
How
I'm talking to Mr. Tanveer, sir.
acceptable in court.
Tanveer, sir, there's also one more point. Please let me make my point. Please let me make my legal point.
New
Let me
point
make my
being
legal
made
case.
here. Very important. Very important. Tanveer Ahmed Mir,
One more legal case, please.
you're being
One more
challenged.
legal case.
Tanveer Ahmed Mir, you're being challenged.
Tanveer,
Shahzad
sir.
pointing out facts.
Tanveer, sir. Mr. Bhamla, please 1 second. Please let me make a legal point.
You tell me.
Please, I'm making a legal point. Please. Mr. Bhamla, please let me make a legal point. I cannot keep shutting it down. Mr. Bhamla, I cannot engage with you like this. Please let me make a legal point. I'm requesting you. Do not shout. I cannot engage in a shouting match. I'm making a legal point. Please.
Subramaniam is also something.
Can I please make a legal point, sir? Please let me make a legal point. Now my point is, Tanveer sir, I told you on 22nd March. Please, Mr. Bhamla.
But what I am trying to say,
please, Mr. Bhamla, 10 seconds of your time. Just 10 seconds.
Of the release on bail of Bhaskar Raman.
Can you please give me 10 seconds?
Bail doesn't mean that you're innocent. Bail is the norm in this country.
Rahul,
we are not Pakistan. We are not North Korea. We are not some, absolute dictatorship. Come on, don't make a virtue out of a necessity. Hello. Sir, Mr. Bhamla, you're climbing up
money laundering.
Can I please
Sir, you're barking up the wrong tree tonight.
Rahul, how do you make
Can I have 10 seconds?
Okay,
Just
Mr.
10
Bhamla,
seconds.
1 minute.
Just 10 seconds.
There's a point of order that is being brought
Just
into
10
this debate.
seconds.
Now give me 30 seconds. Mr. Bhamla, lower his face. Yes,
please, just 10 seconds.
Mr. Bhamla said, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed Meet said that these documents are not admissible. Address that.
Yes.
You have a view on that. Address it. Shut him down. Okay. Yes.
Mr. Tanveer is absolutely right on the legal points he made, except that these documents that you're holding went to an adjudicating authority called the PMLA authority, which is not a government body, it's a tribunal. They upheld this and said considerable evidence exists against Karti Chidambaram. And apart from these emails, sir, in the same document that you have, the provisional attachment order and other documents, there are statements of not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people, at least 4 people like Sarat Chandra Reddy, Girish Kamlakar, R. Saumitri and K. Ramakrishnan, who have all acknowledged and come to the same conclusion that these emails come to, that ASCPL was nothing but a front controlled by Karti Chidambaram from day one. So there are statements of the witnesses also.
Shehzad Poonawala said that is what establishes the Benami link.
There are statements of witnesses.
There you go. Tribunals have accepted these as material evidence, these documents. What do you say now? Mr. Sundaraman is also listening on keenly. Tell me.
Rahul, can I come in on that point?
Rahul, yeah. It's all for you, Mr. Mir. Go ahead. Make your point.
Rahul, yeah.
Yes. You see, what I was saying is that in the PMLA proceeding, the order is passed by the investigating officer for a provisional attachment. The law then provides that the provisional attachment order passed by the investigating authority is to be confirmed by the adjudicating authority.
Yes.
The adjudicating authority of the PMLA is yet to pass that order.
No, sir, it has been passed.
Now the adjudicating authority order will be
sorry, sir, it has been passed. 22nd March.
Give me the facts. Give me the facts.
Criminal proceeds generated in Aircel Max's case involving Karti Chidambaram. It is a 171-page order by PMLA. So please do not mislead.
171-page order by the PMLA. Do not mislead. Mr. Suman C. Raman comes in.
It's a PTI copy, 22nd March.
So this is an infractuous point. This is becoming more interesting by the moment.
Nobody is allowing me to
Emails.
speak. Rahul.
Mr. Sundaraman. No, Rahul, Mr. Suman C. Raman. Go ahead.
One minute. Yeah, 1 minute. There are 2 key issues here, Rahul. One is about the guilt or otherwise of Mr. Karti Chidambaram. That is something that the courts will decide.
I'm not getting into
that.
The
second and key point is there intent in carrying on this prosecution? Is there intent in carrying on this prosecution? Very simple. Here we have a prevention of corruption case where there is no public servant who has been named so far. The man who is alleged to have benefited from this has been arrested, has been questioned, and still there is no additional names added to the FIR, either from the FIPB Rahul, in those days who cleared the file, or Mr. Chidambaram who
taking you on that point,
because of whom the file should have been cleared.
Don't make a virtue out of a necessity. Bail is the norm. Jail is the exception in a trial. Excuse me,
Rahul.
No, it's not a bail. You're not answering my question. Who is the 1 minute? Who is the public servant who benefited in this case? Who managed to sort of benefit on behalf of
Narasimha Rao wants to answer you.
Why has he not been questioned? When will he be questioned?
Okay, Narasimha Rao.
Is that date going to happen closer to the election?
Oh,
Rahul.
Very interesting. Timing, vendetta, all charges rolled into one. Narasimha Rao respond.
I think Mr.
It's all about timing at the end of the day.
Mr. Suman C. Raman,
Who is the public servant, sir?
Can I? Mr. Suman C. Raman knows the facts in this case. We have seen how. Can this gentleman please give me a minute? how people of the country have known over the past 3-4 weeks how the entire FIPB was out of the loop. It was a private deal struck by the INX media team with the proprietors who are actually listed as number 1 and 2 in this FIR. And they entered into a criminal conspiracy with the then finance minister and Mr. Karti Chidambaram.
Has Karti Chidambaram's last standing defense crumbled? That's the big question. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy joining the panel right after this short break. I'm coming right back to you in precisely 2.5-3 minutes. Stay with me. Don't go away. This is getting bigger, more interesting, and unfortunately, a lot more troublesome for Karti Chidambaram. One of the biggest exposés on Karti Chidambaram. On the one side of your screens is Karti Chidambaram looking triumphant after he got bail. On the other side is a little-known chartered accountant. There you can see him bespectacled, wearing that white bush shirt. He was released on bail today. This chartered accountant is thought to be the person who runs companies that investigators believe accepted kickbacks from companies on behalf of his boss, Karti Chidambaram. Till today, Karti has denied any business links with this man who is called Bhaskar Raman. But today that's all about to change, and that's because Times Now's internal security editor Nikunj Garg, with extensive ties to the Enforcement Directorate and others, has been able to secure email correspondences that have been recovered from the computers of that chartered accountant to the right of your screens that bears the signature of Karti Chidambaram, that links these individuals conclusively. Here are the hard facts. As I told you, Karti's last standing defense demolished tonight for the first time. Karti linked to kickback companies, files of Karti's correspondence accessed exclusively. I have with me Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. Joining this, the person who has made it a crusade to nail these individuals to the doorpost. He joins me. He's senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, needs no introduction, member of parliament. Also with me, Nikunj Garg, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. Panelists here are saying that these letters amount to nothing. They are not evidence. Can you clarify that point of law?
Well, see, the issue is that Karti Chidambaram claimed that this Advantage Strategic, the chess management, etc., he is not the owner. First of all, that has been long exploded in the Supreme Court when my case was being argued, because he owned a company called Osbridge, which owned 95% of the shares of the Advantage. So anyway, it was a subsidiary of Kanti's company. So there itself the link was there. Second is that these people, these four sidekicks of Mr. Karti Chidambaram, they executed a bail in which they said that after their death, the entire property that they have earned will go to the daughter of Mr. Chidambaram, I mean Karti Chidambaram. That's another blatant expose. And now you have come out with, Times Now has come out with these correspondence where he's using the email of a company which he says he has nothing to do with. How can he use the email of a company which he doesn't have anything to do with his writing to the airlines or whoever? So these are all clinching evidence of his connection with these companies. These companies got the illegal money from those who got the FIPB clearance. Mr. Chidambaram has a person who has been interrogated by CBI in the CBI headquarters some time ago, and now the question of further investigation, perhaps custodial interrogation, might happen in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So the Chidambaram gave the decision and Karti got the money, and then Karti has transferred some of that money to Chidambaram's account.
Okay, stay on with me, sir. Stay on with me. Nikunj Garg also here. Nikunj, these emails that you have accessed, now these are very surprising to me. I mean, they seem to smack of a sense of entitlement. Karti Chidambaram wants upgrades for his colleague, right straight off to British Airways, almost as if, he owns the airline. Then he shoots off another letter to the Indian High Commissioner in the UK, saying that, get my documents attested, my man is going to be there on such and such date, facilitate it all. There seems to be a great deal of confidence. He seems to be able to reach out to government servants Are you surprised, or is this how every Neta's son actually behaves?
Well, I think, Rahul, in this particular case, the sense of entitlement is quite bordering up to brazenness. The fact is the Deputy High Commissioner is not a junior level officer. Deputy High Commissioner is somebody who's nearly 25 to 30 years of substantial service in the Indian Foreign Service. You do not shoot off emails to the Deputy High Commissioner himself, requesting him or ordering him around, many would say, for attestation of documents. There are processes laid down for that. You can approach the counselor section, or you can approach the social services section, which is pretty much available in the United Kingdom High Commission of ours for those purposes. But clearly, there is a sense of entitlement that Mr. Karti Chidambaram is employing even while writing that letter that Sabha also raised a point about. And another point which Dr. Subramaniam Swamy actually clarified for Mr. Sumant C. Raman, that it is not as if the public authority, which is actually covered or mandated under the Prevention of Corruption Act, under which the CBI is investigating the matter, has not been questioned. Mr. Chidambaram's statement has been recorded. What further a course of action to be taken apropos the public authority, that will be decided by the investigative agencies in due course of time. I do not wish to second guess that. So there is clearly a presence of footprint available of the public authority, and we cannot say that the act is blatantly being misused for the want of a public authority in the case.
So I'm asking you, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, there is a claim here that these guys have got bail. So what's the big deal? Since they've got bail, it just shows that the case is weak.
Bail, by the way, is given when the interrogation is over. And it doesn't mean that they are now guilt-free or that they have satisfied the investigating agencies. And it is based on sureties, this is based on a bond being executed.
There you go.
And Mr. Karti Chidambaram has been told, you cannot leave the country. And now is that a price for Mr. Karti Chidambaram to be told by court, you can't leave the country? Only criminals are told that you can't leave the country. And that whenever the Enforcement Directorate calls you, you have to be present.
Well,
so this is a strange thing. To say that bail is actually something for celebration.
He might be summoned tomorrow or day after to sit opposite Peter Mukherjee, because Indrani Mukherjee, his wife, has come out and said she met Mr. P. Chidambaram, who asked her to then pump in money to Karti Chidambaram's companies and help him out financially for some alleged services. That's what is said. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for joining us here this evening and giving us a brief outline of this particular matter. But I want to bring in Ashutosh Mishra, and I want to bring in Tanveer Ahmed Mir and Asif Bhamla. Look at the reach of this man. Ashutosh Mishra picks up a phone, shoots off a letter, wants upgrades.
Yeah, Rahul, what we are one
look at his sense of entitlement.
One question here, that is what you are talking about, sending letters and introducing people
from criminal
is not something out of the blue. It keeps happening. Now, Mr. Poonawala here was saying that one of the letters has just been approved on 22nd of March, the PMLA educating officer order. And Mr. Karti Chidambaram has got bail today. So, what is happening is these are all selective leaks by the
it clearly says that there is sense of entitlement, not vendetta. Because when your executive authority writes to the Deputy High Commissioner, you are not under vendetta, you are saying that my daddy is very rich and powerful, therefore do my work. Secondly, a PMLA authority is a court of law.
1 minute, let Ashutosh Mishra speak. Okay. 1 minute, Ashutosh
Mishra,
make your point.
We are confusing the issues here. Mr. Poonawala is trying to confuse the issue here. We are here talking about this particular email.
When an authority which is not under the government agency has approved the
Ashutosh Mishra is explaining. 1 minute, gentlemen, let's not speak over each other. Ashutosh Mishra is explaining.
This is all political game.
Okay.
If the case was watered.
No, the whole case, sir, and correct me if I'm wrong, rests on the premise
Rahul,
that Karti Chidambaram, Sumant C. Raman, this entire case.
And a murderer.
1 minute,
Rahul,
doesn't matter, sir.
Under 164, scamster and a murderer. They are revealing.
But how are they benefiting? If they are actually, if they are acknowledging, hello sir, if they are acknowledging that they paid a bribe, they will face prosecution. They may get off. They may get off as murderers, but they'll be in jail. No. For partaking in a fraud, please, they're incriminating themselves. Why would anyone want long cases on their head?
And
Mr. Bhamla, you are again barking up the wrong tree.
No, because they are already incriminated.
No,
they
no,
are
no.
already being charged for
that
murder.
doesn't matter, sir. It doesn't mean that they're convicted.
Mr. Chidambaram,
No, I can't understand this logic.
Whatever they are
Someone who's already accused.
They can get up on one case and they indict themselves in another.
Suman C. Raman, I want to bring you in. Suman C. Raman, there are two issues here. Sense of entitlement, okay, fine. Let's not concern ourselves with the sense of entitlement. But Suman C. Raman, there is a bigger case.
At least over 2.5 years ago,
here now?
Mr. Gurumurthy wrote about the wills and the seizure of these wills.
Sir,
now, 2.5 years later,
Suman
we are
C.
still
Raman,
asking the question.
vendetta. That's all we've heard from the Chidambarams. I can read out statements.
Why is he not being prosecuted?
Can I ask you a question?
You're not able to hear me. I think, Rahul, please go check your hearing. You're not able to hear what I'm saying.
Mr. Chidambaram side quashed the order of the PMLA authority which has approved all this in a high court. Mr. Tanveer Mir is a learned lawyer. He said that if it has been approved by a PMLA authority, now the other recourses go to high court. And they challenge the order that has come out, 171-page order. Point number one. Point number two, Mr. Chidambaram was in jail from 20th Feb to 12th March under police custody. Then he was from 12th March to 23rd March under judicial custody.
Okay, 1 minute.
He was not a free bird.
We are not the court. 1 minute.
Mr.
Suman C. Raman.
Poonawala, when was...
And I want to bring in Sabha Naqvi once again. Sabha Naqvi, you made a very important point.
The wills were seized 2.5 years ago. What has happened in 2.5 years? Why has there been no movement of the prosecution?
There has been so much movement,
Mr.
sir.
Gurumurthy wrote about it in the Indian Express. Go check the date, which year it was.
There has been so much movement.
And nothing has happened.
2 people have been arrested. They're out on bail with stiff conditionalities.
Rahul, can I make a...
No, one second. Mr. Mir, 1 second. I want to bring in Sabha Naqvi. Sabha Naqvi, I'm coming back to the point. The original point. Vendetta has been claimed by the Chidambarams today. Is that plank looking decidedly weak? That's what we're saying. Sabha Naqvi, let us speak right.
Why is the prosecution being proceeding in such a selective way?
If everyone stops shouting, I'll say one line.
Yes.
We can split hairs on the details.
No,
but do we really believe
Rahul,
that
like
Mr. Karti Chidambaram, whether things are criminally, please
citizen,
don't shout when I'm talking. Please do not talk over me. Do we really believe?
Let them certify this.
And some other people are shouting. I want to make a point here. Sir, don't interrupt me. You can have your say after I'm done.
I'm talking
Rahul, I just want to say one thing, that the ecosystem is so terrible in politics and just let me say, sir, I can't even hear my own thoughts.
Sir,
when you keep shouting like this. Allow me. Give me a minute. There have been 6 men shouting. Give me a minute, sir. I can't hear my own thoughts. I just want to make one point, Rahul, whether things are criminally proven or not, time will tell. But let's have no doubt that a young man doing business while his father was a finance minister and then sending emails and all, I mean, this is just not right. The whole thing, what we know is not right. And let me also give you the example of when Dr. Manmohan Singh was finance minister, he had a very, very different attitude with his family. One of his daughters got married in a simple sari and one gold bangle. I mean, that was happened some years ago. It was a very, very different attitude towards his own family. What was happening here?
No, look at the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, his attitude towards his family.
I don't like the way this political entitlement.
Mr. Bhamla, this is political entitlement. This is what allowed Mr. Karti Chidambaram, so claims the Enforcement Directorate and the other agencies, to use his relationships to make money.
But then, okay. So Rahul,
now respond.
That's what I was saying on Sabha Naqvi's contention. No, that's what I'm saying on what Sabha Naqvi mentioned rightly, that as a normal citizen, as an ordinary citizen, how does he have access with the UK High Commission? And if at all, let the UK High Commission also testify that they have also received those emails, because finally it is the court that has to adjudicate on the basis of the mails received to certify. And is that sufficient evidence in the court of law? Is something that needs to be proven in years to come?
The FIPB became a family interest promotion board. $2 lakh and 26 lakh rupees were paid into these shell companies that Rahul is speaking about. What is it that Mr. Chidambaram was doing? Father,
there is no evidence on that. And let me tell you, even this,
and then when he is prosecuted,
even
you say
the evidences that have carried
your defense is actually calling it
are not
Okay,
sufficient
Jivan
to
Narasimha
put out
wants
a
to
case
come in.
of a
Jivan
money
Narasimha.
laundering.
They are trying to influence investigation.
How are they
prejudice
influencing the
the
investigation? Hard work done by Nikunj Garg is not influencing. You try to get these letters answered. It's not as if someone is standing on the pavement putting out these letters. Don't undermine people's. No, please. Don't undermine people's enterprise. Everything is a plan for you.
What is the sufficient evidences that has been gathered?
No, everything is a plan.
Today's
No, why don't you ask these questions of other publications? No, 1 minute. I'm asking you.
In the Karti Chidambaram case.
Ashutosh Mishra, you should ask these questions of several. Don't castigate other people's journalism and their ability to break stories. We're not some pony channel that is sitting here and peddling nonsense.
Fashion today to break stories.
Do you know it's so difficult to break a story that stands up to scrutiny? Do you know how much? No, do you know how much verification? What are you saying? Do you know how much verification that needs to be done? Because the individuals we are dealing with are extremely powerful. The Chidambarams are not your ordinary
Headline management, Rahul.
Headline management. On what basis? Jivan Narasimha Rao, the charge is headline management. Take the charge.
Rahul.
No, Rahul, I think there are so many apologies for the Congress party and for their dirty politics. I think it's certainly, I find it rather curious. Can you ask Mr. Bamla to keep quiet for a minute? Please keep quiet for a minute. For the Congress apologies, they are willing to take any dirt from the Congress party. I think what you have done today, Rahul, establishes the fact that Karti Chidambaram, can you keep quiet please for a minute? I did not speak when you were speaking. I think don't get so rattled when I state facts. I think you see that Mr. Karti Chidambaram was a Chota Robert Vadra in the Congress government. So Robert Vadra, and there are many miniature versions of Robert Vadra. And Karti Chidambaram is yet another Chota Robert Vadra, who are completely outside the government, who had no position in the government, who were related only by familial connection, but they would use all their influence. And if you question them, they would say, how dare you? Are you serious?
Mr. Rao, what are you
Chota Rajan was a very big guy.
What do you mean?
Chota Shakil was a very big guy.
How could Karti Chidambaram behave like a How could he behave like a power center in the government? Was he holding a position in the MEA? What business did he have? What business did he have to direct the Deputy High Commissioner?
Okay, gentlemen, let's not get beyond ourselves.
No, this is reality, not rhetoric.
Now 1 minute.
Chota Robert Vadra.
No, GBN has given a judgment before the court has even pronounced him guilty.
At least laugh a little bit on this show. You are only so serious today. I'm saying कि अंडरवर्ल्ड की दुनिया में छोटा बहुत बड़ा होता है. छोटा शकील, छोटा No, Chota Shakil, Chota Rajan were all big players. So Chota is not a, don't get excited. Chota is not a bad thing.
2 FIRs in Rajasthan.
No, Chota आदमी बड़ा काम कर सकता है.
Rahul,
Sabha Naqvi.
These rhetorics don't work in the court of law.
I'm only asking you, Sabha Naqvi, this is something that you brought up. And I think one has to look at this holistically. The whole case rests on the fact that an individual had unprecedented access. That's the claim. I'm not making it. The Enforcement Directorate is making it. And he used to get favors done for X, Y, and Z and get paid into certain companies. Today he disowns those companies. Today he says the people who are identified with those companies have nothing to do with him. This expose makes a small attempt, chota attempt, at trying to link some of these dots. That's all. And are you now convinced that perhaps somewhere along the line, this vendetta charge that is thrown completely and almost always at the NDA government is unjustified? Would you say that? Would you concede that tonight?
Look, I think in the matter of Karti Chidambaram, the charges were there even much before the BJP came to power. You know, I mean, when I was in Outlook magazine, when the UPA was in power, we were trying to do it. And as I may have said in your program, anyway, Mr. Karti Chidambaram was always pretending as if he was some hefty thing.
Say this.
And trying to call up journalists and, you know. So, I mean, who the hell was he? I'll repeat this. I don't care about political vendetta. You know, and I mean, one could say that maybe it wouldn't have happened if he was in the Congress, but one doesn't know that. But who the hell was Karti Chidambaram to run riot all over the place, to block investigations against him? It's political power, privilege, class, influence, it's all of it merged into one. That's all, you know.
Well, this news break today happens in the backdrop of another bitter controversy that is raging,
Rahul,
which is over.
Rahul, one objection here.
Yeah, go ahead. Quick objection.
Rahul, now what is happening here is that we are casting aspersion on the spine of the Indian bureaucracy. I mean, do you want to tell me today that just because son of a minister writes to the deputy high commissioner, that deputy high commissioner
in the FIPB clearance of Aircel Maxis, they were overruled by Mr. Chidambaram.
You don't know the facts.
They were overruled by Mr. Chidambaram.
You might have great faith. No, 1 minute. You have great faith in the bureaucracy. I admire you, sir, but don't become an ostrich. It's not as if bureaucrats are above this. No, 1 minute. There are plenty of instances of bureaucrats who have been found with their hand in the till. Let's not give certificates. I'm not in the business of giving certificates, and I hope you're not. We leave it at this. This story is going to get bigger. More facets going to be exposed tonight on the News Hour with Navika Kumar. We come back on this story in just a few moments.